and my video is clearly audible and visible to you, all of you. You can let me know in the chat box or give me the reaction of thumbs up or something. Okay, we have Ashira's reply. Aryan. Okay, Tanvi, thank you. Thank you, everybody. So let us start with today's session without any further delay. And first of all, I welcome you all to the session of interview tips and tricks conducted by one and only Pregrad, along with our guest speaker for today, who has more than 5+ years of expertise into the domain. Let us welcome Shikha Kashyap, ma'am. Uh, can we do we have you, ma'am, here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so the session is all yours to take. You can start with the session because we are already running a bit late. And there's just one pointer that I need to remind for all of the students. That is, if you have any doubts throughout the session, you can write in the chat box, and Shikha ma'am will be visiting all of the doubts and will be clearing all the doubts at the end of the session. Okay. And secondly, that the recording of this session is will be made available to all of you, so don't worry about that. And the PPT notes resources will also be made available to all of you, so don't worry about.
Makeover. Let's talk about the most important question that so many people have. What's the hardest part of preparing for an interview? So I want to see your answers in the chat box. What is the hardest part of preparing for an interview? Introduction, okay. Just the introduction or anything else also? I'm waiting for your answers. Aptitude test, career goal, talk about yourself, body language. Okay, okay. Yes, showcasing you're genuine, showcasing that you're real. Good. Okay. And when you joined today's session, what do you hope to achieve by the end of this session? I want to understand what exactly you're looking forward to by the end of this session. Communication, okay. What more? Clarity, yes. Tips to be confident, okay. Motivation, okay. We'll try to motivate you as much as possible, Jatin. All right. So I'll try to cover all of these points in today's talk. And for today's session, the roadmap is we are going to start with the resume that works. So we'll talk about quick tips on how to improvise your resume before you go ahead to any interview. Second, we'll talk about ATS and ATS-friendly resumes. Then we'll talk about interview preparation, where I'm going to cover all your doubts, which is facial expressions, showcasing your genuine, how to tell someone the answer of this, tell me about yourself question, and how to introduce yourself with clarity. So we are going to talk about all of your doubts today. So make sure that you have your complete attention here. And last but not the least, we'll talk about some tips to answer the interview questions that we come across in our placement drives, or if you're going ahead with with a personal approach and you are approaching a company and you're going for an interview, even in that case, in a group interview also, or if you are an aspirant for government exams, this is going to help you as well. So let's get started. Now, for preparing the best resume, the first thing you need to know is, yes, I'm waiting for some answers in the chat box. The first thing you should know before preparing a good resume is strength, okay? Projects, yes. That's it. Just two people. Come on, guys. Domain interest, threads, internships, yes. Skills, yes. Experience, okay. Certifications, yes. Communication, yes. Weaknesses, future goals, strengths. Good. But the most important thing is missing in the chat box. You. If you are going for an interview, if you are preparing your best resume, the most important thing is to know yourself, to know who are you as a person, what kind of career you want in your life, what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So when you do a SWOT for preparing a resume or for preparing an interview, the most important thing is please be honest. So let's do a quick activity here. I am giving everyone 7 minutes by watch. In these 7 minutes, I want you to prepare your SWOT. You will use it after this session to grab a wonderful opportunity. I'll let you know by the end, but for now, I want you to prepare your SWOT. Think about all these questions. What makes you professional? What are you really good at? What services can you offer if hired? What favorable personalities do you have? What resources do you have? Then come to your weaknesses. What am I bad in? What should I hone and practice? What am I afraid of? What are my wrong mindsets? What are the roots of my failure? Then talk about your opportunities and threats in the similar manner. Your 7 minutes starts now. Just read these questions and try to answer them. If you are done, you can write your SWOT in the chat box. If you will not prepare your SWOT right now, you won't be able to enjoy the upcoming slides and the session. So please do it and do it honestly. You're left with 4 minutes. Hurry up. I request you to mute yourself. Somebody has, thank you. 3 more minutes left. Last 2 minutes. Okay, that's it. So by this time, I guess, okay, I got some answers in the chat box. I guess by this time, you people have some self-awareness that what is my strength, what is my weakness, what kind of opportunities I have, and what are my threats. Now, when you know these things about your own personality, then we can polish your resume. So let's use this and let's polish the resume that you have created already. So before we go ahead, how many among you are already having a resume prepared? I want to see some answers in the chat box. You can just write a Y. 1 out of 66, 2, okay, 3, that's it. Out of 66, 3, okay, 10, that's it. What about others? Okay, all right, okay, good. So maximum people have prepared the resumes already. So we're just going to polish your resume now by adding the specific details that you just came across by using SWOT. The very first thing that your resume has is the career objective, why you are here and who you are. So make sure you write your career objective related to your field and to the job that you are looking forward to. So make sure that all the words that you're writing in your career objective are related to one, your educational background, two, the position you're looking at. But from where will you get those words? So for that, you need to go to the job descriptions provided by your university or provided by LinkedIn, and then you have to see what words are used in their job description. That is how you finalize, okay, out of this list, what qualities I have, and those words will finally be added to your resume. That's how you write your career objective. Second, and the most important thing, your career objective is the summary of your entire resume. So make sure that you add all the possible and all the relevant information there. Then comes the part where maximum people are still not sure, which is, ma'am, I wrote it, but is it correct or not? So that is where the role of technology comes in. Whatever comes to your mind, first of all, try to write it down in your own words. Then enter it to the ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to alter the grammar and to make it concise or to make it short. You will get the best version of Career objective, which is not a copy of your best friend, not a copy of your colleague, but which is generated just by you as per your needs, as per your requirements. And that is the beauty of technology and your self awareness. So make sure that you use today's SWOT, then the company's job description, and at last ChatGPT to create the finest version of your career objective, which comes at the top when you're making your resume. Second thing that I'm going to talk about is the technical skills and soft skills. Make sure your resume should have a technical skill and soft skills. Again, not the one that your friends are adding, but the ones you have earned in this duration of 4 years of your degree, or 3 years of your degree, or 5 years of your degree. So make sure you add the technical skills and soft skills related to one, the job description, right? Second, the projects that you have done. Third, when it comes to soft skills, you're going to add the ones again as per the job description, the ones they have learned, or the ones you think you can learn in the near future. You can write that also. It's not important that, okay, ma'am, there were 5 skills in the job description, but I don't have any. So I have nothing to write, because that can be a case. So in that situation, what you can do is you have to at least see, okay, I don't have any skill, all right. Can I achieve any skill in the short period of time? If the answer is yes, please write that. Okay. But do not leave that space empty. So use job description, use your experience. If both are not working, then look at the possible skills and then see which skill you can learn at the shortest interval of time, and then add that in your resume. I repeat, do not leave your technical skills and soft skills section empty. Okay. Now coming down to the third part, which is again very important, which is your educational qualification. Now, this part is tricky. I have this question from a student. I met him in the recent interview. So he said, ma'am, I'm not sure. Is it necessary to add my marks, my percentage in educational qualification? I want to tell everyone no. It is not important to add marks in your educational qualification in your resume until and unless your company is saying you have to write. Okay, so if you feel that, ma'am, my marks are not that fascinating or that good, you can skip writing your scores in your resume. If you are sitting there, definitely you have a CGPA as per their eligibility, it's okay. But if the company has written it in their job description or in the email that you have to mention it, then you don't have choice. But if it is not mentioned, you have a choice. Please take the choice. Okay. And if you're an excellent person who has 9 CGPA, go ahead. You're showing your excellence by that. Why not? But if you're a person who has just scored 6.3, 6.4, and the eligibility was 6, then I would say refrain yourself from adding these percentages to your resume. Why? Because before you reach to that person, your resume will reach, right? So if you will write your marks there, then maybe that creates a different impression. So if it is not mandatory, do not add it. Number one. Number two, whenever you are writing your educational qualification, we always follow reverse chronology. It means on the top, we will write about that degree that we did recently, maybe in 2024, 2023, right? Followed by the degree we did in 2020, 2021. Then followed by our 12th and 10th standard. Okay. So it's the reverse chronology in which we write it. Name of your degree, your college, year of passing. That's it. Okay. Now, educational qualification is something which is similar for you if you're sitting in Pune, which is similar for me if I'm sitting in Punjab, which is similar for some other student who is sitting in Himachal, okay, or someone who is sitting in Delhi NCR, or someone in Mumbai. We all share the same kind of educational qualification. We all did a 10th standard, then 12th standard, then maybe a BTech, or maybe a BCA, or maybe a MCA, or maybe MTech, or maybe MBA. right? So the qualification, educational qualification part is there to help you to get into that interview, but it will not be a make or break situation. Therefore, let's come down to that part, which is going to make your resume really impressive, which is your projects and internships. So make sure that during your college years, you do projects, you do internships, because that is where, you know, you learn and you experience things. There are so many students who come and say, ma'am, I'm a fresher. If you have done projects and internships, you have experience. You're not a fresher anymore. You are not the one who has, been through those classroom trainings and has not done anything with his hands. But you are that individual who learned it in the classroom, practiced it under some trained individuals in an internship, did a project, and today you're here. So you're no more a fresh mind. You're a mind which is trained to work in corporate environment. All right. So that is why projects and internships is one of the most important part in your resume. So make sure while adding them, you do it very smartly. But the question is how to do it smartly. So during your projects, if you are writing, let's say XYZ is my project, then do mention in one line what role you played. I repeat, what role you played. Write that, not about the project, because that will be a question in the interview. Do not kill a question, okay? Let them ask that question, but your role should be written there so that they know that this person was actively involved and this is the skill this person has practiced. If you simply write, I've done a project, and then you do not write your role, then the project can be just another part of your resume and not something that highlights your quality. So make sure when you are going ahead with a resume and when you are polishing it before your interview finally, make sure that you add value to it. Write the name of your project, your involvement in the project, and make sure you highlight at least one skill. Technical or soft skills doesn't matter, but at least try and highlight skills in that. That will help your resume stand out. Okay. And then comes the that part in your resume which is least bothered, I would say, but has can have maximum implications in terms of your interviews, your hobbies and interests. I have seen people writing in hobbies, I like reading, whereas they have even a zero book in their mind which they have ever been through, right? Some people write my hobby is music, but if you ask them a single question about music, they have no idea. And then they try and justify it was for fun. I didn't took it very seriously. I understand that hobby is for fun. You're not wrong. But you mention your hobby in your resume, and resume is not for fun. I hope you're understanding the difference between two. Having an interest, it's for fun, it's okay. But if you're writing that interest in your resume, it means that hobby has given you some quality which makes you a better professional. So make sure whatever you're writing it as a hobby, make sure that adds value to you as a professional. Okay, so whatever you have written in your resumes already, try and have a look at it today after this session, and then try and see what more you can add to polish it. All right. And then comes the languages, so you can write whatever language you know. And last but not the least, I want to ask this question from you. What is missing in this resume? I want to see some answers in the chat box. This resume is not complete. Something is missing in this resume. Tell me what is that? Because so many people said they have prepared their resume already. So I want to know, what do you think is missing here? Reference, okay. Educational qualification is there. Certificates, yes, certificates are missing. Good. About me is in the career objective. Personal information, good. Signature. Signatures are not a part of resume. Very good, Vikas. Yes, achievements. Yes. You're right. Achievements are missing here. Achievements and certificates are missing here. So that is another column that you can create and you can add your certificates. Now, there are so many students who come and ask, ma'am, can I add an achievement that I got in my school time? Or is it only the college achievements that I can add? You can add any achievement. Okay, number one. Number two, whatever achievement you're adding, make sure you have a skill in your mind that you're going to relate with that achievement. For example, I can write that I am a football player and I have got the first rank. Our team has won the championship, something like this. Now, if my interviewer asks me a question that, Shikha, do you think you have good leadership skills? I can say yes. Why? Because I have been a captain for my football match where I won. So in some test matches, I was the captain, whereas in the final day, I was maybe the captain, you can say it. And then you can say that under your leadership, how you helped your team in winning that match. So that is a certificate which is showing how you are a better leader, how you have better strategies on the ground, which brought some results. So you can use that certificate, which is not academic, that achievement, which is not academic, in answering and telling about a skill that you have, and that is the requirement of that job. So that is how you use these achievements and certificates. Now, if you have performed in a school function, do not write in school. Just simply write participated in this. That's it. Okay. So if you have participated in something, it's okay. You have learned something out of it. Maybe I got rid of my stage fear. Maybe I got to know that I'm an ambivert and not introvert, right? Things like this. So you should be smart enough to relate your certificates with your skills. Now, second thing, achievements. So I have seen some people writing participation is an achievement, but participation is not an achievement. Achievement means I've achieved a rank. So if you're writing the word achievement, make sure you're only mentioning the places where you have got some rank. And if you have not got some rank, then that's not an achievement. That is a certification. You can still add it, but under certification and not achievements. Okay. Now, last but not the least, somebody said, ma'am, personal information is missing. No, personal information is there. You can see on the top left of this resume, contact number is given, email ID is given, and location is given. There is one more thing that is missing, which is your LinkedIn profile. So make sure you add your LinkedIn profile as well. So after your email, you can add your LinkedIn profile to make sure that they visit that part of your professional area as well. Okay. And one more thing, when you're adding an email here, make sure you have a professional email, the one that starts with your name and not with some trendy buzz name. Okay. So make sure that whenever you are sending a professional email, it should be it should be starting with your name. You can use your date of birth to make it um, appropriate for the current username available. That's okay. But try and start it with your name. Yes, Jatin. Yeah, a good question. When you are talking about educational qualifications, it is important to mention the year. I have also written it on the screen. So, for example, here Nancy has done the education in hospitality and tourism. Then she mentioned the college, BS California State University. Then, if you can see, the year is mentioned. So, you need to mention the year. It is important to mention the year because it shows that you have no gap. Okay, so that is why. Um, okay, I would say GitHub link is for the projects, if I'm not wrong, right? It's for the projects, right? You have to write it in the chat box. I'm waiting. Yes, right. So you can add that link in your projects. And where should you add it? So you are already experts. So try and embed your GitHub link in your digital resumes, especially where you have mentioned your project. Try and add the link here also. Link there also. So when you add your project, write your uh, yeah, GitHub link there, so your person can also have a look and can see where it is going. But if you are submitting a hard copy, which is a case in university placements, otherwise you only send your soft copies. So in that case, yes, you can tell them that I have a link and I want to share that. So you can share the soft copy during your interview. But before that, you can just have a printed version. So their GitHub link will not work. Even LinkedIn link will not work. But otherwise, you can add this link in your projects. That's where it will make sense. Okay. We will come back to that question by the end. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, Dave. All right. So with this, the resume polishing is done. Okay. And as I already talked about career objective is about three things. One, my skill. Second, what I am looking at. Third, what I have. So your career objective is a combination of these three things. Who I am, what I have, what I want. That's it. So with this, we have polished your resume now. I hope now you know which section is important, how to write it. So I just want to add this one part because so many students are not aware about the relevant soft skills in today's generation. So one way is you get it through your job descriptions. You can definitely have a look there and can find out which one is better. But if you are creating a sample resume and you're not sure what to write there, you can use any of these 10 skills as per your desired job role. Okay, so if you want to be a manager, then there are different skills. If you want to be a team worker, then there are different skills. If you want to be a doctor, there are different skills, and likewise. So your profile decides what skills you need, but out of these 10, you will find it for every profession. So if you want, you can use it for that. Now, after adding these relevant soft skills, after polishing the resume, what if you still feel that your resume gets rejected? Can anyone tell me after doing all these things why your resume is still rejected? I'm waiting for some answers in the chat box. Can anyone answer this question? Why do you think after adding relevant information, still my resume is rejected? Not matched with the job profile. Okay, Mehak, but we already discussed we will match it with the job profile. Good, Dave. Yes, it's not ATS friendly. So now comes the major important part. So if you are going from the university, then there are chances that still you have to submit a physical copy. There are chances, right? But if you're applying in your dream company through LinkedIn or some other websites for job portals, then you need to make sure that your resume is ATS friendly. So this is a study that shows that when the resume goes opportunity. And why they lose the opportunity? Because ATS is a software and it can only read the information if you make it readable. I repeat, if you make it readable, right? Therefore, to make a ATS friendly resume, you need to follow all these steps. The first one is go ahead with simple formatting and standard fonts. So you need to use Arial or Times New Roman or Calibri. Do not go with those fancy formatting tools or fancy fonts. Okay. Second important thing, include keywords. So as highlighted by Mehek, that ma'am, maybe it is not matching to the job profile. So make sure you are sending a resume that is matching to the job profile. You are adding some words from that job description to your resume, right? Stick to standard section titles. I have seen people going to ChatGPT and writing synonyms for educational qualifications, synonyms for projects. Don't do that. I know you are trying to make your resume stand out, but for that, you can go ahead with some good projects, with some good internships, with some good career objectives, but do not change the title of the section. Okay? Avoid headers and footers, graphics and images. Okay, definitely you have to add one at least, which is your image. But apart from that, do not add images. Now, this is a mistake that I also did. So what I did is I went to a portal, created my resume, And at the end, when I wanted to download it, the portal said you have to pay the money. Okay. And at that time, I thought I don't want to pay the money. So I did a smart work. I took a screenshot and I thought my thing is done. I converted it to a PDF and I sent it for my job profiles wherever I was applying. So all the job portals, I uploaded that. Now, after uploading the same resume for almost 10 companies abroad, I got rejection. I got a rejection. And I was unable to understand that my resume is well designed. I am myself an expert in resume designing. What is wrong? So there I came across this part, ATS friendliness. Because when they were sending my resume to their ATS system, it was not readable. Why? Because it was an image and not the text. So please do not do this mistake ever. I lost 10 opportunities because of this. So I don't want you to lose even one. So make sure that you are sending a ATS friendly resume. You are writing simple format, simple words, no nothing fancy, and no images. Okay. And some of us are using Windows, some of us are using MacBooks. So make sure whenever you save a document or whenever you share a document with someone, always share it in PDF format. That is the best. Because in PDF format, the things will not move here and there, and you will be able to send the right format that you have created. Okay. The most important one is keep it concise with bullet points. And something that we need to do everywhere as students, even in our examination halls, we have to do here also. Proofread your resume. Once you have created everything, do not just read it then and send it off. No, wait. Read it once, keep it on hold for 10 minutes, read it again. Okay. And if you see no errors, send it. All right. So that is how you create a ATS friendly resume, and that is why it is so important. Yes, you're right. The resume I showed you before this was not ATS friendly. So I showed you the resume intentionally because usually I have seen the college students making a resume in that format. So the ATS friendly resume is here. This is ATS friendly resume, okay, which has again the similar columns, but they are not divided. The page is not divided. You will write everything in the single sequence. Okay, and no, somebody has asked this question in the chat box. Did rejection from one interview affects any score? No, it doesn't. No one is going to tell the other company, you know, this person came to me, I rejected them. No, nobody is that much free. Okay. So yeah, don't worry. If you get rejected even from 10 institutes, I got rejected, it's okay. No one is going to tell anyone. But what makes a difference is I learned from that. Instead of saying that I got rejected, instead of crying about it, I went ahead and find out what is wrong with my resume. And that is how I can tell you today why ATS friendly resume is important. If at that time I would have cried that my resume was perfect, still it got rejected, or if I would have blamed that organization that they are biased, they are not giving me opportunity, then I would be sitting in some corner of my house. I'm not sitting here today telling you that what makes a resume better. So the only change that can happen is with your effort. Whenever you fail in life, please do not sit back and cry. You're not made for it. You're made to find out the reason of your rejection, work on it, evolve, and help others. Okay. So somebody wrote in this chat that this resume is not ATS friendly. So I hope now you understand which one is ATS friendly and how to create it. I want to see some Y's or N's in the chat box. Y if yes, N if no. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. So as our resumes are ready now, let's go ahead with the 5 golden rules for resumes. Make sure they're relevant as per the job description. Make sure they're readable as per the font and the size. Make sure you have highlighted your achievements and results. Make sure you tailor it every time you're going for an interview. You don't have to just create a resume and send it across. You have to see the job description, understand the requirement, and then you have to send it. Okay, that's how it works. And last but not least, make sure you review it. Okay, if you follow these five golden rules and make a ATS friendly resume, then definitely you're going to get that interview call that you really want to have. Okay. Before I move ahead, if you want, I can share some links with you after this session where you can create free ATS friendly resumes. Though it is nothing, you can just write it on a doc. But still, if you want help to create ATS friendly resume on free tools, I repeat, free tools, you can ask us and we will do it. Okay. So my resume is ready. Okay. I've got my interview call. Now comes the bigger picture. How to prepare for this interview. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is research the company and the role. You can do it on two platforms. The first one and the trustable one is LinkedIn. Why I'm saying this? Because recently, after getting those 10 rejections, after understanding what happened with me, I again applied for to some international organizations. And after improving my resume, I applied, I think, on 7 to 8 websites, and I got answers from five. Okay. And I chose one and I'm working with them now. So in that journey, I learned one more thing that if you go by website and apply, some companies are taking time in that process. Whereas if you apply through LinkedIn, you will get easy and quick responses. So this is my personal experience that I have with these organizations. It may vary from country to country and person to person, but my experience says that on LinkedIn, organizations are more active. Okay, so if you are applying for any job in any company, make sure you apply through LinkedIn as well, and you send an email as well. Both the things is a good get to go, right? Now, coming down to the second thing, whenever you apply for a company, make sure you do a research of the company and the role. But the question is, ma'am, okay, research on the company, but what kind of research do you want me to do? Right? That's a question. So you have to do a research about two things. What is not actually two things, three things. So what is the mission of the company? What is the vision and core values of the company? Right? And last but not least, what is the exposure of the company? Why is it important? Because when companies ask you, why do you want to work with us? You give those internet-based silly answers. Your company is the best in the market. Do you really think every company you're sitting for is the best in the market? I want some answers now. Do you really think that every company that is coming to you or every company you're sitting for is the best in the market? I'm waiting for your answers. No? Just one person out of 75. Come on. Are we there on the other side? Yeah. No, not every company is good. So in that case, if you have done the research and if you know that, okay, this is the mission of the company, this is the vision and core values of the company, this is the exposure of the company, you can pick up anything that really is impressing. And then you can say, ma'am, I want to work with your company because your company gives exposure. On your website, I saw one, two, three, four, five things which I liked. And I think if I'll get them in my career, I can bring laurels to my life. I can bring some measurable success in my career and to the company as well. Now, what happens is when you give such an answer, you tell them very straight you're professional, you're well prepared, right? And you are not here for a time pass. You are here because you genuinely wants to work with them. So that's the importance of doing a good research about the company. And it will not take more than 20 minutes of your time of preparation. So if you're new to this, Invest these 20 minutes, you will get an answer why you want to work with the company, okay? And where do you see yourself after 5 years in this company? Because then you know how hierarchy works, you know what is their work culture, so you can tell them what you really liked about their company's profile or their company's website, right? And so many people will be like, ma'am, where will I get it? So you will get it on their website only. On every company's website, there is one section about. You click on about, you will see the mission and vision of the company. And for policies, you can see their website. Everywhere they have written sometimes HR policies, sometimes they have written their USPs, or sometimes they have written the word global reach. It varies from website to website. But ultimately, it is so simple that once you open the website, you can see where they are and what exceptional they are doing in the industry. Because it's the digital era. Everyone shows what exceptional they are doing on the top page. So you open the website, you know it. But if you open it, only then you know it. Okay. So this is the first step for interview preparation. Step two, look at the role you're going ahead with. See the job description. See the kind of responsibilities they want to give you if you are being hired. Now, ma'am, why is that important? Because they will ask you, why do you think I should hire you? Now that's a question again. You cannot say I'm the best candidate out of those 100 people outside, or maybe the 100 resumes you have in your PC. That's not being confident, right? So in that case, when they ask you why I should hire you, you have an answer using those responsibilities. And you have done your resume auditing also, so your resume will also support you. So you know what skills you have written in your resume. Make sure you use those skills and answer this question. Sir, I read in your job description, or sir, I read that in this role you are looking forward to one, two, three, four skills, and I'm happy to tell you that I have learned these skills. Then you can add the experiences, maybe football match, maybe a group performance, maybe a project, maybe an internship, whatever you feel is real and relevant. Even if not real, then relevant. Okay. So that is how this research of the company and role can answer the two most important questions in an interview. Okay. Moving ahead. Whenever you're going for any interview, you have to alter your resume always. You have to make it company specific. You have to include the keywords from the job description. You have to edit the skill section. It's not the same always. Maybe in some cases, I want to be more vocal, so I have to write my effective communication. Whereas in the other area, I have to be more empathetic, so I need to see the order in which I'm writing them so that the interviewer have a look at this and can understand, okay, this person is going to stay for a longer time or this person is just there for 10 minutes and the person will leave. So that's how your resume buys you more time if you actually create it in the right way. Okay. Now comes the most important part. Okay, ma'am, I did my research. I prepared my resume. Now what to do? Now look best. Now, I have seen so many people coming up these days and stereotyping professional dressing etiquette and saying that it doesn't matter what you wear anything, but your skills matter. I don't deny that. I don't deny that your skills matter. But if you want to tell people that, okay, these are my skills, then you need to get on that seat first, right? You need to sit there first and then only you can tell them that these are my skills. Number one. Okay. Number two, number two and most important is today I'm here in front of you, right? I'm here for a guest session. Now imagine I come up with some basic face. Maybe I come up here with open hair, with some casual clothes, and then I start talking. Will you have the same approach? And don't give me answers in the chat box. I don't want to hear those stories. I just want you to think about it. When you enter the college, imagine your professor comes in their night suits. Will they have the same image they have today when they come in professional attire? Or imagine you go for an interview and your interviewer comes in a casual attire. Casual attire doesn't mean a jeans and t-shirt. Casual attire means literally casual, right? So at that time, you'll be like, this person is not professional because your dressing etiquette matters, especially when you're going for work. And it gives a sense to your brain that you're working at this moment. I felt that when I'm professionally dressed, my body language changes and I become a bit more a bit more professional in my strategies and my thought process and my words. And if I'm casual, then I'm casual. Then I can't be in this attire. Then I cannot be in this mindset. Now that's a problem with me. And that's a problem with maximum people. So you have to see if that is your problem or not. Right. Now, coming down to this beautiful question by Jatin, he says, ma'am, boys also need makeup? No. So, professional dressing doesn't mean makeup. Professional dressing means you need to wear tidy clothes. Okay. You need to make sure that you choose the right color for your shirt, just subtle one, not those strong yellow or the strong red color. Don't choose that. Choose subtle colors. You can choose blue color or you can choose white color. Wear a tie, that's important. If you don't have one, borrow it from your friends, right? And wear a full sleeve shirt and make sure you wear a blazer if you're going ahead. And make sure that you tuck in the shirts, both boys and girls, and make sure you wear tidy shoes, not the one that are not polished or not well suited for that time. Wear a trouser as well, and make sure you tie your hair, right? So for girls, tie your hair. For boys, you can just set your hair with whatever you do. It can be oil, it can be water, it can be anything that works well for you. And make sure you groom yourself. I'm not going to those basic groomings now. I know you all are smart enough, right? You all know how to meet people and impress them. I guess that. Yeah? Do you know this or not? Why are in the chat box? Yes or no? With Instagram Reels, I hope everyone knows how to get dressed. Yeah. Okay. To my surprise, there are 70 people in the group and only 10 people answered. The rest of them are either not there. Okay. It's the internet. Okay. So in case of men, you need to make sure that your clothes are well ironed, that your clothes are tidy, that you choose right color for your clothes, and that you make sure your face is tidy enough, you're well shaved, your hair is set, right? Do not put extra cologne or extra perfumes when you're going ahead. Make sure you keep everything very minimal and very decent, right? Similarly, for women, when you're going for a professional meet, your makeup should be minimalistic, right? And make sure you tie your hair, okay? And make sure that if you're adding some accessories, they should not be extra accessories. So just go with the watch maximum and make sure your clothes are appropriate in all the forms, right? And yeah, that's what you can do. The clothes can be for men. It's one attire: blazer, trousers, shirt, tie, shoes. For women, it is diversified. You can go with Indian formals, you can go with Western formals and whatnot, right? So you can choose any style, but make sure that your clothes are defining you as a professional there and not as a what is the right word here? As a fashion freak on Instagram. So make sure that we are looking at it from that perspective, from a professional perspective. All right. Okay. So, ma'am, my clothes are good. I entered the room. Okay. We are stepping in to give that interview now. So make sure you are ready. But now the time is of making a impression. My attire is good. My documents are ready. My resume is ready. I am mentally prepared for all the answers. Now, how to create that first impression is very important. So make sure that you are confident at that time. Somebody said it in the initial chat messages, I want to be confident after this session. So to be confident, I would like to tell you one instance that everyone has experienced in their life. So imagine in our classes when our teacher used to ask a question and we used to raise our hand. that I want to answer it. Sometimes we used to raise our hands a bit higher, and sometimes we used to just look down and look for help that some friend of mine will just come and tell me the answers. Does this ever happen with you in your life? That your teacher is asking a question, you are raising the hand, or you are just trying to sneak in somewhere and you are just trying to help yourself and not being a part of that discussion. Just five people, that's it. Come on, guys. Just five people feel this? Oh, okay. Okay. I got the answers. Okay. Yes. Now, what is the reason behind it? Why it happens? It's not that we are not confident at that time. We were confident. But the only problem is confidence comes from knowledge. You raise that hand higher when you're sure that your answer is correct. Even sometimes it was wrong, right? But still you feel it's correct, and that's why you raise that hand higher. So if you want to have that confidence while entering inside that interview room, make sure you practice with your friend. You use some internet tools and give mock interviews. Doesn't matter which approach you're using. You're using technology, or you're using your friend, or you are taking help from a teacher. Doesn't matter. But make sure you give at least two mock interviews before your final interview. Because then your brain will be like, I have done this before, right? So if you want to be confident and if you want to make that first impression that yes, I know what I'm doing, then only two things can save you: your knowledge about the company and your profile, right? And your practice. These are the two things that will help you with that confident walk in that interview room. Okay. Now, second, and I would say the most important one is be punctual. Because when you are not there on the time of your interview, the interviewer might listen to you that you were late because of so and so reasons, but your impression is distorted now. You have lost that chance to create that impression that you are a professional. So make sure that you are there within the boundary of your interview at least 20 minutes before. So you keep a buffer of 20 minutes so you will always be on time, right? The next and the most important one, which we have already discussed, is be prepared. But this time, be prepared with your documents as well. So I have seen people going to that interview room because it's new for them. They sometimes they throw their files, sometimes they while sitting they mess up with the chairs. So that happens when you are not well prepared and when your brain is confused what is happening. So give your brain that direction that my documents are in my file, well aligned. I am on time. I'll enter smoothly. Okay. So if you're well prepared, your documents are aligned, you know the company, you know the profile, you know the resume, you will yourself feel a difference in the approach you're having for your interview on that day. Okay. And last but not the least, please be you. They don't want to hire your friend. They do not want to hire artificial intelligence or internet. The portals where you go and see on Quora or on some other portals how to answer this question in an interview, please understand your interviewer has the same access. They know what is written there. And if you try to learn some answers from there and give that answer, you are not the only one who is smart. So maybe you are fourth or fifth student repeating the same answer and then they know it's just a grammar. So don't be that in your interview. Make sure that you frame your own answers, make sure you're honest about your skills, and make sure you stick to the resume and your learnings when you are in an interview. Okay. And that's how you create your first impression. So my first impression is done, ma'am. Now I have got my seat. What next I should not do? So I have written here the 7 body language mistakes that usually people do. They don't smile. They're very nervous. So smile. It costs nothing, but can create a very beautiful impression. At least people remember. You remember that person who came inside the room and lighten up the rooms. So your presence should make a difference in a positive way. So make sure you smile when you enter. I am not saying laugh. smile, just a positive smile. Okay. Second thing is weak handshakes. Weak handshakes. Why? Because it is it is a psychological fact that if someone has a weak handshake, it means the person is not trustworthy. So if by chance, if you are having a chance to shake a hand, make sure your handshake should be firm and strong. It shows that you are trustable, reliable. Okay. And sometimes in HR interviews, they do have psychologists to understand that this person will come and stay in the company, or this person will come work for 6 months, get the certificate and leave. So for that reason, no company wants to invest in a person who is there just for 6 months. They want to invest in resources who will stay in the company, help the company in their growth. Because ultimately they are there for their company, not for you. Okay. Make sure you create an eye contact and not avoid an eye contact. Okay. Do not sit cross-armed. I know you already know it, but make sure you don't do it. Cross-armed, cross-legs, this shows you're defensive and you're not ready to learn, which is an important skill these days. In a recent corporate meet, this is something that 5 corporates agreed on, that we need people who are learnable. We don't want individuals who have super knowledge. We want people who will come to our company and have the capacity to learn our company strategies and then work with us. So if you are having that defensive body language, you're telling them you are not going to learn anything. You think that I know everything already. So do not have that attitude. Once you start working, you start learning also. Okay. Then comes the next and the most important thing. I said smile, I said create eye contact, but do not exaggerate. Everything done in access is not good, right? So make sure that you have minimum expressions on your face, which can be smile, yes, or the answers, right? Slouching is again a bad idea, so make sure you sit straight when you're going for your interview. And so some people have habits that they do in their times of being nervous, right? Some people play with the pen, some people play with their feet. Feet is okay because no one can look at it. But if you have a habit of playing with a pen, make sure you do not keep your hands on the table. You keep it below the table. And if you're keeping it on the table, make sure that you're telling your mind not to do it. Or do not carry a pen if you think that's a problem. Okay. So by following these small tips, your body language will support you in your interview. Now comes the most important part, tips for common interview questions. So I have 5 tips for you. The first one is remember they are assessing you. So do not paste answers for behavioral questions from interview or from internet or ChatGPT. Do not ask ChatGPT how will you answer this question. And even if you do, have a look at it, read it, but do not paste it in your interview. Read it, get an idea, okay, this is how I can answer, and then frame your answer. It's okay. All right. Second thing is highlight skills in your answers. So your answers should not be like, I'm the best candidate. You need to talk about the skills. You need to talk about company requirements. You need to talk about job descriptions, right? Not answering all the questions is okay. I have seen students coming out of that interview room and saying, ma'am, I was unable to answer that one question. I was unable to answer 2 questions. It's okay. You are not ChatGPT. You cannot answer all the questions in the world. I cannot answer all the questions in the world. We are humans. We are evolving. You will learn from every experience. So when you don't know the answer of any question, you can simply say, sir or ma'am, I don't know the answer of this question right now, but thank you. After this session, this is the first thing I'm going to see, or I'm going to learn about. So this shows your learnable attitude. This shows that you are ready to accept your mistake, and this shows that you have that enthusiasm to go and face the learning journey. Then comes the most important one. Stick to your resume. Make sure you do not contradict your resume at any state. Do not tell them that I have written this hobby because my friend said. Tell them I have written this hobby. I own it. Okay, this is what this hobby has taught me. Make sure you only add those hobbies which can be useful for your job profile. If not, try and link it to your job profile and your learnings. That helps you in making a good professional. Okay. And last but not the least, justify your viewpoint, not internet. It is like no one has said that the answer of one question is only correct if it is answered as yes or no. In behavioral questions, your answer can be different and still correct. So instead of thinking that what is the correct answer, try and think what is the reality. And then think that, okay, my reality is correct, my reality is good or bad. If my reality is good, please put that answer on the table. Because honesty is rare and that is sellable also. Okay, that is marketable. That's a skill which is rare. So stay honest, stick to your resumes. Not answering questions is okay. Skill highlighting is the key. And remember, you are in the interview, not your friend, not the internet. Now comes the most important part of today's session, which is common interview questions. So I saw this question as the very first message when I asked you people, what do you expect from today's session? Tell me about yourself. So here, the biggest mistake I have seen students doing is they start talking about their family. I don't know why. I have seen people saying, I am this, my father is doing this, my mother is doing this, my brother is doing this, my sister is doing this. Why? First of all, understand that I am here for interview. Okay. They are going to hire me for my skills. Okay. So my answer should revolve around two things, me and my skills. That's it. So in tell me about yourself, because you're freshers, I'm considering everyone is a fresher. So in tell me about yourself, talk about your name, maximum to the place you belongs to. Okay. Then your educational background. Even if you want to skip, you can skip that because you are eligible because of this. So you can skip that educational background also. Then you can add your skill set and your internships that you have done, your projects that you have done. And at the last, you can tell them that, okay, I believe my this skill makes me better than anyone else. But make sure that skill is related to, I want the answer in the chat box. If you're mentioning a skill in tell me about yourself, then that skill should be related to, come on, answer in the chat box. Good. Job description. Yes. So you should relate it to the job role, to the job description, or to the company website. And you're nailing it. Okay. So everything can be pre-prepared because this is a question everyone will ask. So you can write it down in the best possible format and see how I can say it in the shortest possible duration and still tell them all the skills I have as a professional, as an engineer, as a BTech, as a BC or MCA student. Okay, now you prepare it. So just one thing you have to change every time you go for an interview is this last skill. What makes you extraordinary or exceptional in this field? And there you go. Okay. So that's how you answer your tell me about question. Now comes the next question and the most important one. Why did you choose this field and industry? I've seen people saying that because my father said this, because my brother said this, and so on and so on and so forth. But do you think you should tell this to the company? The answer is no. Okay. So whenever a company is asking you, why did you choose this field and industry? Tell them your passion. Tell them about your passion. And please do not say I'm passionate about this field. No. Tell them why this field is better than other fields. Now, after doing a degree in that field, I hope you know what are the best things you can do in that field. Come on, right? We are smart enough to figure out the good things in that industry. You can use the current affairs for this. You can use the international market for this. Anything that suits you, use ChatGPT here and do a research about the exposure in one industry and then answer this question, why you choose this industry. Jatin, I would say refrain from comparisons. I'll tell you why. In an interview, this is a tip you can consider. Never say something is not as good as mine. So that shows your proudly. That shows you're egoistic. Okay. So make sure you do not say that something is has less value because I don't have. So do not insult any field or compare any field in a negative proportion. Refrain from this in terms of institution, in terms of degrees, in terms of skills, anything. Never say negative about someone because it shows your approach is negative. Okay, so instead of comparing it with some other fields, it's better you say this is best in my field and this is what attracted me to this field. Okay, so that's how you can answer specifically as per your fields. Okay, now what do you know about our company? I hope you know how to answer this question now. You already know about their vision, their mission, and their exposure, or the other policies that are listed on the website. You can use them, answer it without any tension, so you will be confident. Okay. Why do you want to work here? I hope we can answer this question as well. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Okay. Okay. This is the important one. Now the problem is that when you talk about strengths and weaknesses, strengths is okay, ma'am, whatever is written in the job description, I'll manage it. I'll pick up some skills from there, some extra skills I'll add, and I'll tell them this is my strength. But what about my weakness? So as I tell you that be honest, I'm still sticking to that, stay honest, right? But here, stay honest smartly. So do not tell them a skill which is a part of their job description or which is a part of that job. So don't tell anyone that I cannot work in a team. Don't tell them this because nobody wants a person who cannot work in a team. Okay. So what skill can you mention here? Again, you can mention a skill that you see in a more senior position. Okay. So then you can say my weakness is so and so skill, or my weakness is so and I am aspiring to improve this within next few years. Do not give them a particular number one or two. That sounds overconfidence. So you can say I'm aspiring to learn it ASAP. As soon as I enter the industry, I will start working on these skills. Okay. So that is how you decide what comes in my weakness category. So you can see if you're joining as a project manager, then the next hierarchy, leave one option like one person above the project manager and then see the skills of that position. Pick that up and add it in your weakness. And never say it's my weakness, say it's my area of improvement. The area where I really need to work upon is this. So it shows a positive approach. So I hope now we all can answer that question of weakness that what I'm weak at. Yes or no? So are we confident about these 5 questions now? I'm waiting for the answers in the chat box. We are still 70 people in the meeting and I'm getting just 10 answers. Come on, guys. Okay, good. Yes. Okay, good. Are you feeling confident now? Just one, just two, just four. Come on, guys. Good. Okay. Yes. So these are the questions and 5 more. Okay. This is another very famous question. Can you describe a challenging situation you have faced and how you dealt with it? Okay. So this is a kind of behavioral question. Now, please understand here they do not want to know about the situation. Here they want to know how you act in difficult situations because they have written challenging word. So they want to see how you perform under pressure, right? So in that case, make sure that you people talk about a pre-planned situation. Okay, you think about such questions beforehand and then you answer. This is one trick. Now second trick is, ma'am, I forgot to plan. Now what should I do? I got this question. I have never faced a challenging situation, and the ones that I have handled, I've handled it in a bad way, so I don't want to talk about it. The first thing is buy some time. Pause. For behavioral questions, pause. That's the first trick. Second trick, think through. When you take a pause, it's okay. You heard a question, you are thinking about that question, and you can take time. But how to do it smartly? So if they have asked you a question, can you describe a challenging situation you have faced and how you dealt with it? You can ask some clarifying questions because this is an open-ended question. It can be any situation. So you can ask a question, for example, you can say, sir, is this situation related to my private personal life or professional life? So they will feel that, oh, the person is being analytical, the person is thinking. Okay, so you buy some time. They will tell you what kind of situation they want. Okay, and you also get some clarity. Okay, this is the area of focus, and in that time you have to make a story. Okay, and then let's say if they tell you, okay, personal. So you can say the challenging situation was convincing my parents for this college. Can be one challenging situation. Okay, convincing my parents for a trip with friends, right? Or convincing my professor for this project. Okay, so these can be challenging situations for you that you have faced and you dealt with it. How will you dealt with any challenging situation? The first thing is stay calm, right? Stay calm, then try and be empathetic, try to see from their angle. Then you try to explain them the loopholes of not doing it, and then you try and convince them. So that's my way of convincing someone. You can have your own answers, but make sure the skills you are highlighting, empathy, staying calm, communication, are these skills related to your job description or not? If they are not, then also you can add some 2 3 skills. It's okay. It's not like, ma'am, I cannot go beyond the job description. Please don't do that. You can add some good skills, but make sure you add 1 or 2 skills from the job description as well. So if there are 5 skills, add 2 3 from the job description. It works. Okay, so pause, think through, and then answer. And if you think that, ma'am, I don't have any clarifying question, the question is already clear and concise, then trick number 2, tell them, can you please rephrase the question? Not repeat the question, rephrase the question. It means they have to change the words of the question. So they will also need more time. So they will take time, you get more time, and your job is done. Okay. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Now, this is a question that you need to ask yourself. We did SWOT today, right? In that SWOT, you wrote your opportunity section. That is where you can find the answer of this question. Where do I see myself after 5 years? What are my opportunities? And then you can answer it. Okay. But do not tell them you are going to be their competitor. Don't do that. Okay. Do not sound overconfident. Tell them what is realistic. Okay. How do you handle stress and pressure? Again, these are those questions that are being asked to check your behavioral skill again. So in stress and pressure, what is the worst thing a person can do? I want to see some answers in the chat box. If you are in stress and pressure, what is the worst thing you can do? Yes, I'm waiting for some answers in the chat box. Shut up, but yes. Okay, what else? Okay, that's it. Make cry. Okay, yes. Anger, yes. And what is the best thing you can do? Stay calm. So for handling pressure, yes, for handling pressure, you stay calm. Whenever I'm under pressure, the first thing I do is I take a cup of coffee. I relax my mind, and then after giving a break to my brain for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I rethink about what happened. And in my case, I start writing it. I write it down to figure out where is the gap. And in that writing, I get my answers. Or another approach is when I am under pressure or stress, I write down my problem and I try to see where I can find the solution, what I can do about it right now. Because if I'll not take that break of 10 minutes, my brain cannot think straight. So I take a coffee break, I take a tea break, I move out of my room for a while. And then after calming myself down for 10 minutes, I come back to my table and then I sit back and then I start working. That's a usable technique. Yes, but you cannot scream on people, right? We are talking about professional interview and not the reality, so please don't talk about it, okay? All right. So do you prefer working independently or as a part of team? Now, I want you people to answer this question by knowing all the skills I have taught you till now. So, do you prefer working independently or as a part of a team? Good, part of a team. Yes. Why part of a team? Even if you are a leader, you cannot work alone. If you're working alone, then definitely you are not the master of all these skills. You need people to do work. So you should always say, I want to work as a part of a team, because a team is a is a is a mixture of many skills combined in as one individual, and then you have multiple hands to work. Okay. Yes. Now the most important question that you should have. So this is a question that almost every interviewer is asking these days. Do you have any questions for us? So please do ask them questions. And you can ask them questions about any policy you read on their website or about their journey in the company. These are the two questions I would suggest. You can ask them how you started working in this company, or you can ask them, okay, about this HR policy, can you throw some light on this? Or I had this reservation, can you? But do not make it very problematic for them. So your question should make them feel that you are enthusiastic to join them, not scared to join them. Okay. So with this, I hope now everyone is interview ready. So I want to close it with this one quote. अच्छे कर्म करो, फल का क्या है बाजार से ले लेंगे. Right? So do not worry about what is going to be the result of my interview. Make sure that you people are preparing yourself well. And when you are done with the interview, make sure you know one fact. It's time machine. You cannot go back. Right? So the only thing you can do after this interview is stay calm and professional. If something goes wrong in that interview room, do not mess up with them. I have seen people leaving the room with aggression. Don't do it. Sometimes that is a test that you're going through. So even if something goes wrong, greet them with a smile and tell them that you will still look forward to their response. Show them you are still hoping for good answers, right? And leave the room in a professional way. Then, if you are applying yourself and not through the university placement, please send them a thank you email. It is always good. It is always good to send them a thank you email. It shows you're compassionate. And sometimes people change their decisions. And remember, you are not always right. So if something goes wrong, do not blame the company. Do not say they're biased. Do not say, they had fixed seats, right? Accept, maybe I did something wrong. The first step to improvement is acceptance. Accept you are not right always, right? And that is how you evolve with every interview. So I am not sure that after first interview you will get a job, your dream job, but I'm sure that this process will go on and eventually you will get the best one available for you in the market, right? And with this, we are closing today's session. Okay. And as I said, that if you will prepare the SWOT, I'll tell you how you can get a, a gift at the end of this PPT. So if you have prepared your SWOT in today's session, I want you to post that SWOT on your LinkedIn profiles and tag Pregrad and tag me. And the top 10 SWOTs will get this chance to get their resume audited by me. And if they have any questions for their interviews, if they want my help there, I will answer them on my LinkedIn. So that's how I will be helping you more if you did that task and not wasted your 7 minutes at that time, right? Okay, so with this, we are done for today. If you have any questions, I would love to answer that.
All right. So, first of all, a very thank you, Shikha ma'am, for sharing all of the expertise with all of us today. I believe a lot of students are going to take a lot of things, improvement in their resumes, and maybe in the upcoming interview sessions also. So, first of all, thank you for it. Thank you for all of the students. Thank you to all of the students for joining today's session and making it equally engaging and showing the energy till the last of the session. So it's really appreciable. And I just wanted to announce that all of the notes and resources, for an example, the PPT Shikha ma'am was sharing, will be provided to you. So it has the sample resumes and you can access to all of those in a particular WhatsApp group. I'll also drop Shikha ma'am's and Pregrad's LinkedIn ID where you can share the SWOT analysis and tag Pregrad and Shikha. So
Okay, so I just want to answer this question by Dave, how to deal with gaps in resume. So Dave,
mm,
always remember that in that gap time you were doing something, right? So embrace it. First of all, accept it that you have a gap, and then try and mention some professional development. Maybe you can use online resources and say that I have done a course from Udemy, or I have done a course from Coursera, or maybe I have done an internship with someone. So by doing this, you can justify that gap. Or if you were preparing for a government exam, tell them that I was preparing for a government exam and this is the skill I have learned. But after investing this time, I felt that I should choose another path because that was not working in my favor. So I joined this. So that is how we can go ahead. Okay. I hope I answered your question. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. I hope you're motivated and confident. And make sure you give your interviews with full energy and you're going to rock it. Thank you,
all
everyone.
right, all right, all right. Thank you, everybody. And also, you can share the feedback of your interviews with all of us. And thank you for joining.